This is the demo for the MediaMixer use case, user-generated content for copyright management. User-generated content is content created by users of online services like YouTube. They usually contribute their own content, but it's mixed with content owned by others, the rights holders. These platforms, like YouTube, usually provide services for rights holders to register their content so they can track and detect when this content is reused in user-generated content. And they offer rights holder the option to block, track, or monetize the appearance of this content in user-generated content, where monetize means usually to show or ads together with the videos contributed by users and sharing the revenue from these ads between the platform and the rights holder. This is becoming a quite important revenue stream, like for instance the Gangnam Style video has or song has shown. The problem is that when more than one rights holder is claiming the rights for the same piece of content, they cannot monetize. And usually this is due to a problem in the interpretation of the rights of that piece of content. Maybe yes, one rights holder has this right on one territory and the other doesn't have on that particular territory. So this is usually about rights subtleties that are not available in the digital operations that usually drive these systems. These digital operations are usually driven by digital rights languages, like for instance DDEX, that is a language for the exchange of rights along the value chain. And these kind of languages are not expressive enough to capture all the details about the copyright of a particular asset, because they don't incorporate the rights available or the rights information available in policies or contracts. For instance, in this scenario, we may have a media fragment that might be a video on YouTube that uses a song by Green Day. For digital operations, there might be a DDEX expression that is authorizing us to stream this particular song in the internet and do that associated with even ads and in the US. So our system might answer that we are authorized to stream that piece of content, but at this point we should also take into account, for instance, contract we have with Green Day that maybe has a particular clause that is saying that they don't want to be in YouTube together with war images. So this currently is mainly by hand process to check all these particular cases, and in order to make this scale, what MediaMixer is proposing is an architecture based on semantic technologies that can make it scale. And this architecture is based, the center of this architecture is a semantic repository that is storing all the semantic data that the system is managing. This semantic data is structured based on a copyright ontology. And with this copyright ontology, it is, for instance, possible to model existing rights languages, like we have seen with the DDEX, that can be mapped automatically to semantic data based on this copyright ontology. We also have Resumer Media Explorer, that is a user interface for users to browse all the data, the semantic data that is stored in the RDF store and Resumer. So, for instance, we can browse all the DDEX expressions related with ad-supported streaming that we have loaded into the system. Using the Resumer Media Explorer, we can just browse them, we'll see here the list of all these expressions that mention ad-supported streaming. These are deals in the text data. So define conditions, what's the aim, what is allowed to be streamed. We can browse also this information, so we can see this digital asset, the metadata associated to this digital asset. Okay. We can also browse the disputes. These are the conflicts reported by YouTube about who owns a piece of content, who has registered it. So for instance, we can see here that we have disputes about doing ad-supported streaming for a piece of content in Group Shark, also in YouTube. And we have also here another different dispute about ad-supported streaming also in YouTube for another different piece of content. There's also another module in this architecture. This is semantic media annotation. The idea is that we can automatically annotate media and associate to these pieces of media information about, for instance, what are they about. And to do that, we analyze content itself or text that may go together with these videos or images. So for instance, we can browse here another piece of content in our store. In this case, it's a video, long-form music work video that has been detected in YouTube. So someone has used in this video, has used this song or part of this video. And we have also annotated this video on YouTube automatically as being about, or the topic of this it contains images related with war. So at this point, we have information about this asset being part of a video on YouTube that shows war images. So, as we have seen in the disputes window, this particular one, that is the one that is part of a war video on YouTube, is currently being authorized. We can click here and see that is authorized by a deal that comes from DDEX that is supporting for that particular asset to perform ad-supported streaming in the United States. So this is why we can claim that we can do that. We can stream this on YouTube. But at this point, we can realize that there is this clause in the contract by Green Day that they don't want to be together with war images. And we have detected that one of their songs is in YouTube in a video that is showing war images, as the semantic annotation system has stated. So at this point, what we want to do is to model that clause. And to do that, MediaMixer has been developing an interactive tool that is able of modeling rights expressions based on the copyright ontology. So if we want to model in this case that Green Day doesn't want to be together with war images, we can just model this as a disagree. So here, who is disagreeing is Green Day, and as you can see, this user interface is driven by the data and the ontologies that we have in the RDF store. So here we have an autocomplete for the URI that identifies Green Day. We can also define the date this has been created. We can also define from what moment this should be valid, okay, until when. You can also define here what is being disagreed, what kind of action Green Day is blocking. In this case, we can, or the interface driven by the copyright ontology, the hierarchy of rights that is modeled in the copyright ontology. In this case, we're interested in this particular right, is to make available something, and this is referring to the make available action. So if we save, we can further define that what we are prohibiting is to make available, but now we should specify what is what we are avoiding to be available, where, and so on. So we can start, for instance, with location. We can define here that we don't want this to be on the US. We start typing, we see that this is also autocomplete. In this case, it's being autocompleted against schema.org that is also integrated with the copyright ontology. So we're looking for kinds of places that contain the U, and that's why we're getting here museum and so on. But we are not interested in a class of things, so we're interested in a particular instance. So we can type, we will have here country codes, that is what we're interested in. We can type US for the United States. Then we have to define what we don't want to be made available. In this case, is any work by Green Day. But in this case, there is not a class modeling this set of things already in the database, so we can create a new one. So as you can see, we are now creating a new class, a subclass of created work. In this case, what we want to define is that the author is Green Day, so this will be all Green Day work. But we should also define that what Green Day doesn't want is their work to be part of content showing our images. So what we should specify here is that what we're blocking is when it is part of our content. So we can also create new class for this. And in this case, work content is any creative work where the subject is this particular topic, that is work. We also have this in the RDF store, so it's auto-completed to that concept in DBpedia. What we have modeled is we can also define the medium, that is what is remaining. Here, this is a particular medium we're going to block, that is YouTube. So we can pick YouTube for the medium. And finally, save this clause into the RDF store. So if we go back to the Resummary Media Explorer, what we are going to see is that the reasoner is now considering all the information that we have provided. We have the DDEX that was previously authorizing this particular streaming of this sound in YouTube. This sound we have detected as being part of a video that has been annotated as related to this category war in the Wikipedia. But we have also modeled this clause in the Green Day's contract that is prohibiting making available their work, work authored by them as part of other works that are about war. So the reason is using all this information in order to detect that this prohibition is matching. So this action should be blocked and the associated dispute. So if we go back to the disputes, we will see now that the last one, the one about this piece of content that is part of a video about war, is now blocked. And if we click here in order to get the answer, we can see that what is barring this from happening is now this being the disagreement about being together with word images. We have here the representation using natural language of this particular clause, and we can also browse the actual model based on the copyright ontology and RDF. So as we have seen, the reasoner is now capable of taking all this information together and decide and support the decision of blocking as to sending this from sending this to YouTube. Thank you very much.